You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Yeah, that's right. I know your ass. And I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep cooking the way I want. Said you wanted to cook, didn't you? Cook that nigga! Anybody want to make some money? Do shit the right with him, please, by all means, stay. But if not, get the fuck out!
All right, man. You getting DP?
Just get the fuck out.
You motherfuckers.
All right. Now what?
Ever cooked before?
You serious?
I want to work.
All right.
Hey, make sure y'all tap in with Let's Yap About It podcast, man. The real dynamic.
If you don't know, man, you tuned in to Let's Yap About It. Even though I don't talk, but you got something to say. Stuck emotions out now.
Now y'all tuned in to Let's Yap About It. This ain't no podcast, it's a problem cast. I go by the name Fat Pimp Texas, very home. Hey man, tell your baby mama I'm looking for her. Tell your wife I'm looking for her. That's what it is, man. Let's Yap About It, man. This ain't no podcast, this is a problem cast. Fat motherfucker Pimp, let's go, man.
Yeah. Let's yap about it. Yeah. Let's yap about it. Yap About It podcast. Yeah. Starring Raw Bass. Let's yap about it. Yeah. Let's yap about it. Let's yap about it. Yeah. Let's yap. Let go. Yeah. Let's yap about it. We in the mix. Fit too savage. Let's yap about it. Had to pray for all of my children. Now the whole world be business. Talk to niggas from prison. Spoke how they was living. How the COs be tripping. Bitch. Rappers losing on the back end because promoter dudes keep dipping. Seen the show when the dude started out of bloods, then start crippin'. Stripper niggas stop tipping. Out of game niggas stop flipping. Bad attitude, so he had to move just to keep his ass out of prison. Seen a show about a young hoe fucked on a sister, man, no apology. Let's yap about it. If the bitch come around me, shit, she can holler at me. Check my Instagram, she was following me. Cause she knew I be where them dollars be. Rapid funds, but I keep it going. I fuck you up, no apologies. Live with Raw Bass. Let's yap. It too savage. Savage like music.
What's up? What's up? You already know who it is. It's Rod, the motherfucking prob. You know what I'm saying? Back at you with another one, man. There's been a whole bunch going on in the industry. Oh, yeah. I don't be missing nothing. You know me. I don't miss nothing when it comes to this, man. So definitely we got an action-packed show, man. There's been so much going on in the media. Man, we got to talk about this, man. It's been going crazy right now, you know what I mean, in the media. LeBron went to Pat McAfee's show and not Club Shay Shay. LeBron pissed people off with his comments about younger players being able to eclipse legends of the game compared to today's game. He went over there and talked about Stephen A. Smith. And, man, it's just an ongoing saga, nonstop, going back and forth with them. Stephen A. continues to talk about it. LeBron went over there to Pat McAfee to talk about a few things, and he addressed it, and we're going to get into that. Also, we want to get into this, man. I feel like it's got to be said, who runs rap and hip hop media? Who do you think? Is it Vlad, Adam 22, 1090 Jake, or Wack 100? We got to get down to the bottom of this because we see too many people getting indicted on the strength of them opening their mouths and basically just talking back and forth about things that should not be talked about in social media. So we definitely gonna get into that tonight. Actually today, because this was an impromptu broadcast. And then we also want to talk about this too. 3 sisters try to kill their own mother over Wi-Fi. The girls ages 14, 15, and 16 reportedly grabbed kitchen knives and chased their mother through the house and into the street. Authorities say one of the teens struck the mother with a brick. Listen, if you get a chance, listen, go and grab everybody you can. Share today's program. Man, we're going to talk. I want to put it off in the chat so y'all can come in. If y'all want to comment, y'all want to drop whatever that y'all want to drop on it, by all means, you know, the platform is yours to speak freely. I definitely want everybody to chime in on that, because I feel like now we're reaching a pivotal point in parenting. We're reaching a pivotal point in the mindset of our children. Is it a plus? Is it a minus? We definitely want to talk about that. But I really want to speak on this situation. And the reason why I want to speak on this certain particular situation is because I feel as if we don't understand the seriousness of parenting, we're in worlds of trouble. And when I say worlds of trouble to the point where it's going to spill over. And like I said last night in my TikTok, there are no lines. There is not a line drawn in the sand when it comes to parenting. And that line has been blurred continuously over the time, right? But we're going to get into that. And then we also got to get into this right now. We got to get into this. Maxo Cream and D Flowers, beef over baby mamas. This has been making its rounds here out in the Houston streets, man. We got to talk about this, man. But first and foremost, we got to get to this thing and this Pat McAfee situation. LeBron, he went to Pat McAfee's show and not Club Shay Shay, and I feel like he went to that particular show. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Tran. I definitely got to give him some love. You know what I'm saying? He always comes in and shows love. We have to talk about this. He went over there, you know, he aired some things out, especially when it came to Stephen A. And he also talked about the legends. Clutch Sports has been doing a phenomenal job as far as bringing everybody to the forefront, especially, and as you know, I'm a pro player person, and I'm also a pro media person too. There are a lot of things that have been going on between Stephen A. and in this notion of the 90s and what have you. You already know, if you're a sports fan, everybody loves Michael Jordan, everybody loves Kobe Bryant, and that has been the ongoing thing, the GOAT debate. I'm sick of the GOAT debate because everybody was good in their own realm in their time in the league. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their moment. Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Walton. The list goes on. Michael Jordan. The list goes on. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. The list goes on and on and on. And I think where we are as far as the competitive nature, I get it. The legends, you know, they always want to make their name and they always want to make their mark when it comes to sports. But however, he went over there to Pat McAfee and he wanted to talk about some things. And then also Stephen A. had a clapback on this situation. But I want to just bring to the forefront about what LeBron said, and especially when it came to Stephen A. And I want to address this. Y'all check this out.
Yeah. Tour run right now. Oh, yeah. Started off with, I didn't want to address it. Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you can address it, is your ass. Like, seriously, never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job. Mm-hmm. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again.
I definitely want to say this about that situation, right? Him going over there to Pat McAfee and I'm gonna bring up Tran, and I'm gonna have him talk about this too. Just give me 1 second. Tran, what it do, man? Definitely, man.
Hey,
Glad to have you on the show, man. Listen, listen, listen. We talking the LeBron situation, bruh. The LeBron situation, and I gotta give you some love, man. Shout out to you for real.
love Robert. Good morning.
Good morning. Man, we see LeBron went over there to Pat McAfee. Basically gave his opinion on Stephen A. about him going on a Taylor Swift tour as far as that incident that he has supposedly left alone. Then he's also talking about the 90s, about guys that like Giannis would average 250 points. And it kind of pissed a lot of people off in the media. I understand where he was going with that as far as the talent. You know, the league has gotten bigger, stronger, and faster. Don't get me wrong. But however, it kind of put a sour taste in the mouths of the legends as far as them not understanding. You got to understand the hand checking era, right? You also got to understand this too. You got to understand there were some physical guys back then. It was, if you notice, the league changed into scoring after they stopped the hand checking. They wanted higher scoring games because if you go in the 80s and early 90s, the point production was about around in the 80s and 90s. But due to them dropping the hand checking, it went up 105, 110, 115, including you had good teams like the Sacramento Kings, who were a running gun team, the Dallas Mavericks, the Phoenix Suns. All of these teams were hybrid teams who moved at a fast pace. And then due to the Mike D'Antoni system of taking a shot, I believe in 5 to 8 seconds, that was the system that was actually the running gun system by Don Nelson, sped up the league as far as point percentage. However, I want to get to this. As far as the legends are concerned, I always have respect for the legends. You know what I'm saying? Because they paved the way for the game. But as far as them, as far as quality of play, did it get better? Yes. But back then, I think you would have a tough time defending somebody like some of those great defensive players like Doug Christie, Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Charles Barkley, Antonio McDyess, all of those guys that came from that era. They weren't just good offensively. They also took a certain level of pride in their defense. What say you, Trent?
Wow. Hey, so uh, to Travis Kelce, I actually saw him, didn't get to meet him. I saw him a couple feet away from me at the Lake Tahoe Celebrity Golf Tournament. That was cool to see. Um, I don't have much input on the Taylor Swift situation. Now,
It was based on
moving on more,
LeBron.
yes, yes. Something I'm more equipped in speaking on is the basketball. You mentioned Mike D'Antoni. He was the head coach of the New York Knicks, and that was a very exciting time for for me as I was following sports. This was when I was actually getting into it. I know the Kings were exciting back in the day. I was alive, although I was not a fan. Now, when the Knicks were fun to me was when he was under the realm and he had guys such as Raymond Felton was running the point guard. He was fun to play with in the video game. Everyone on that team supposedly were making threes easily. You know, you could play with J.R. Smith. He was the backup. I believe Iman Shumpert was the starter. And then you have Landry Fields. Landry Fields. Oh my gosh. You have Amari Stoudemire. You have Tyson. I can name the roster. They were fun. Steve Novaks. And so they were getting shots up quickly, you know, pass to the corner. You have Carmelo Anthony, of course. And then you have the sensational Jeremy Lin era. Um, and yeah. And so, you know, I think LeBron, for him to speak highly of Giannis Antetokounmpo like this, the legends, yeah, they played. I don't know if they had the vocal magnitude that LeBron possesses nowadays with the social media age. You know, he reaches around the universe a
Right.
lot more soundly with the help of of technology, of course, and uh, people in power around the world are going to help him get to a place to speak up for his own country. He was the flag bearer for America. When Kobe Bryant was alive, he was shown immense love in China. They have courts over there with his face painted, murals, and I'm sure in other continents as well.
Mhm.
That's my take this morning. You a, a little off guard. I thought you were streaming last night. Very refreshing to wake up and hear you this morning. Thank you for having me on. I don't have much else to say, Robert. I'm going to continue tuning in though.
Dropping your perspective, man. I always appreciate you for coming through. But I want to also say this too, man. With the situation with LeBron, right? He is the flag bearer of the NBA. He's still the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking anything away from him. I really want him to understand, even when Michael Jordan talked about the greats, and the greats had some competitive nature with him too. The Elgin Baylors, the Wilt Chamberlains when he was alive. There was always a competitive nature, but Michael Jordan always had a certain level of humility and a certain level of being humble when it comes to those players who paved the way. Because you got to understand, these guys had jobs in the off season. These guys aren't getting paid as much as, you know what I'm saying, what Michael Jordan was making at his time, and then transition with the triple digit contracts, the $100 million contracts with Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and the list goes on from there. So I think what the older ones are shocked at, as this narrative that had been pushed kind of a little bit about the 90s being the old school, this, that, and the other, but it wasn't as significant as it is now today without paying homage to the old heads. But that's just all I got, you know what I'm saying, for that, man. But I appreciate you for having. I appreciate you for you know, man.
Yeah, sure thing, Robert. And before I get out of here, I am a avid follower of the Nightcap podcast, as you know, and they're on tonight. And
Mhm.
also, I really enjoyed that the guests that they have on, and they had on Penny Hardaway recently. I haven't really watched this game. Like I said, I got into the NBA quite late. I was more of an NFL fan starting in 2007. Anyways, Hardaway, I hear that he has his Nike commercials, and I love just seeing, now I go to the movies and you're seeing the nowadays stars like Anthony Edwards. He's in the Sprite commercial.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, man. But I want to talk about this situation with Stephen A, man, and I'll bring you back up later.
All right, Robert, I will see you later.
Bet.
Okay.
Tran on the check-in. You already know. But I want to talk about this, man. He had addressed the Stephen A situation. As you can hear him, you know, making a mockery. And then since then, Stephen A has clapped back. To see two guys in the position of where they are in, as far as him in the media, you see LeBron as far as being the flag bearer in the NBA still to this day. And for them not to be on the same page, I think that shows a certain level of, I would say, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, that there is a driving nature and a driving incentive behind both parties. I can take it back to when Ahmad Rashad was close with Michael Jordan. You know, they had issues and things like that, but it was always brought to their attention in a private manner. It never got to this point. And to make a point, and I have to take it a neutral side down the middle. This all initiated a long time ago, and you heard him say, I did not want to cover Bronny James because of such of the heaviness and such pressure. And by him being the main person in social media, people want to hear him talk about it. ESPN put it on the table for him to talk about, which he had no choice but to talk about. This is where that came from. So then, not only that, with LeBron James, he said that his son was way better than half of the guys in the league. That's immense pressure. He still didn't say anything from his high school days all the way from him going to college. He never said, I never watched the game. He said, I never watched the game. But then ESPN showed his stats, specifically his stats, and they were not promising of what he said that he was going to be. So therefore, he spoke on it. Now, could there have been a moment of privacy and conversation that could have been, you know what I'm saying, exercised? Of course. These guys are making millions of dollars. It's easy to get in touch with people. And I don't think that I honestly don't think that Stephen A was coming from a negative perspective. I think he was coming from an open and honest perspective, but he also said that even when you put that immense pressure by saying that right there was going to put him up under scrutiny, which put him and forced his hand to talk about it even when he was not that good. He did not want to talk about it. But due to the factor of the people who cut the checks, he had to speak on it. Now we get to the fast forwarding part of him, you know, basically catching him off guard, especially when it came to that. Yes, it could have been a conversation that would have been had between both parties. Absolutely. It could have been had on both parties' side. However, it did not happen, and it happened the way that it happened. Is it disappointing? Absolutely. Is it a disgrace to both the media side of it? Absolutely. To the sports side? Absolutely. Because these conversations can be had privately behind closed doors. Now, everybody says, oh, well, I'll jump to a conclusion. He had every right to. Yeah, you have rights. They both had excellent points to be made. But for it to get to the media, you know that it's going to perpetuate certain level of ignorance for people who love chaos and they love controversy. I tell you all the time, I'm a pro player. I'm a fair across the board when it comes to the players, and them also, especially when it comes to journalistic integrity when covering players, situations, and people. You already know I shoot straight down the middle, making excellent points on both sides. However, now that it has spilled over into another show, now it's getting to the point where even Pat McAfee has gotten into the LeBron James Stephen A drama. Now check this out though. He went over there. He didn't go to Club Shay Shay. Now that was a strategic and that was a chess move specifically because that's somewhere that he feels comfortable and he trusts. However, I felt like it would have been a bigger interview. It would have been a bigger, way bigger interview if you would have just had him one-on-one asking the particular questions, not it being scripted, not for that to make them look good, but honestly be who you are. That would have made better sense. Now, Stephen A has a platform too. You may dislike the guy for whatever reason, whatever. That's cool. But at the end of the day, you face him man to man to have this conversation so that it could be said, not them jumping to every platform to talk at each other, but instead get in front of each other like I would do anybody else, whether they're a celebrity or whatever situation, whether it's in basketball, sports, or even entertainment. I would directly have a conversation with them to get an understanding. Hold on. We got a thing from Josh. He says, all I know is my money is on King James for that fade, but they need to both stop. Absolutely, man. I gotta give him some love, man. For real. That's a shout out to Josh. Look, shout out to Josh, man. Listen. I know if it wouldn't be a fade, them hands would fade literally into Stephen A's face if it came to a situation like that. But nonetheless, in that situation, I feel like it could be a one-on-one conversation. And I think he was coming from a place of, if anything was to happen, hey man, you know what I'm saying? He got to defend himself. You know what I mean? I want to say this too, and I want to bring this up. Now, Stephen A had a clap back as far as, what was said in that situation about him jumping on the show. I want y'all to tune into this and y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all check this clip out.
James. LeBron James is full of it. He is a liar. And he went on national television today and he lied again. When he approached me while I was sitting courtside at that game against the New York Knicks. But when he said what he had to say, it was during the third quarter, it was fresh out of a timeout, It was him walking to the basketball court. It was on national television. The cameras were rolling. And had I done something, you want this to be a reincarnation of Chris Rock and Will Smith? Because had that man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That I'm not going to tolerate. But I knew he wasn't going to do something like that. I was not talking about his son. I was talking about him.
Y'all let me know if y'all want to step up, man. Listen, the guest chat is at the bottom. Please tell me if I'm wrong when I say this. LeBron, in the Stephen A. Smith situation, it needs to be put to bed. And the reason that it needs to be put to bed because there are two of the most prominent figures in the fields that they do. And it's given the game the black eye, and it's opening so many doors to where public scrutiny can have a great area, especially when it comes to players. We already know that we can look at the league as far as, you know what I'm saying, it being embraced all over the world. But to have two black men in the position of where they are, for that to roll over into something negative. And you know what I'm saying? Now notice, they're not coming together on platforms for it to actually be a financial gain for both parties to sit down and have a conversation. We've seen this situation with Shaq and Kobe. We've seen this with Isaiah and Magic. How come we can't have that same specific moment to where we get these guys together with Clutch Sports? We get Stephen A. and ESPN team or whoever that, you know what I'm saying, he has his own podcast. And y'all sit down, have a one-on-one respectfully. Now, hold on. First of all, he was talking about his son, and I also get annoyed by people trying to talk tough when you know you're really not like that. But he wasn't coming from that place, because if you go back and you listen to it, Josh, he actually said, I never even wanted to talk about him because of the immense pressure, which means he was already thinking ahead of the game of me being in the position that I am as being the lead guy at ESPN, leading the charge on basketball, football, and other sports. Who other? And when ESPN forced his hand, he was like, yo, you put your son in a bad light by saying the things that you said. And now ESPN has picked it up off the table and put this on the forefront to talk about. And I'm not saying that he can't give any pushback. I'm not saying that he couldn't. There's a lot of areas that could have possibly happened before it got to that point. It could have on LeBron's side and Stephen A's side. Make no mistake about it. But he just signed a $100 million contract. And believe you me, these folks want to get their money's worth. I'm not trying to play this one-sided because I understand both points that those men made. But for them to be in the fields that they are and at the pinnacle of what they do, and now the world is watching this, what type of inspiration does it send on both sides of the spectrum? What kind of emotional provoking that this does as far as the social media now, also ESPN News, and also on the sports side? I asked that question because, like I said, we talking about two people in two different fields at the top of their height of their game. And this is right now what we're talking about. We're not talking about of opening doors to different avenues to where we could actually formulate and then create something magical. We're talking about two people at the top of their games beefing behind a whole bunch of nonsense. And it's disgusting at the end of the day. And I wish them two the best. You know what I'm saying? LeBron has been the best at what he's done for the last 20 years. Stephen A has climbed to the top, took losses, been fired, did all the things for him to reach the pinnacle of where he's at. And for two black men to be in those positions, man, I salute them and I hope that they get it together. Now, I want to talk about this too, as far as him not going on Club Shay Shay, right? Now, you know that Shannon Sharp, has always been an advocate for LeBron James, especially amongst public scrutiny that he's faced on many accounts. I asked the question, what was the deal? And I don't know how close they are. I can't literally say that, but it was a very interesting thing knowing that Shay Shay has been on the forefront for a lot of interviews and being the main guy in the media, on the media platform, to discuss such things and different topics. And I don't think, as far as the respect that he has for the game and the love of the game, and also the respect that he has for journalism, I don't think he would have asked him any particular questions that would have been damaging to his brand or damaging to the sport, or even for him to take up for Stephen A., which he shares a respect for too. I think it could have been a great interview, but for him to go to Pat McAfee, it was cool, you know what I'm saying? But I felt like just having that one-on-one sit-down conversation like Bob Costas used to do on his show would have been a monumental thing for not just the hip-hop, and because hip-hop is in basketball now more than ever, but for him to actually sit down and create a certain level of pathway to where now you have a place to where you can get comfortable, a place you can talk, a place that you can open up and give your different perspectives that we don't have in the media. We don't have that. We also see this right now in the media where it's nothing but controversy. There's nothing but drama. There's a whole bunch of every negative connotation is surrounding everything that people that are in positions of power, especially Black, say. So I think that kind of did a disservice, but then who knows, because they may not have that relationship. That could be a possibility. And then also this, due to the factor of the Cat Williams and all of this that brought about, I would say, a shitstorm and making people feel some type of way. Maybe that's what LeBron did not want, and then wanted to go somewhere neutral to where he could actually have a conversation and voice his opinion freely. But however, you know what I'm saying, Club Shay Shay doing this thing, and he's going to continue on. But we'll see in the upcoming months, maybe in the future or whatever, they may get together and they may do the interview. So shout out to him. Now, I wanted to talk about this too. And this is the subject I wanted to get into. Who runs rap in hip hop media? Who do you think it is? Is it Vlad? Is it Adam 22? Is it 1090 Jake? Wack 100? DJ Academic? Who is it? Because I don't understand the level of getting into certain levels of business to put yourself at a disadvantage, right? And I want to talk to you rappers. I want to talk to you guys. And the reason why I want to talk to you guys is because I want you to understand your brand, to understand your way of life, to understand how you're supposed to move, especially when it comes to the media aspect of this game. I really want to talk to y'all. I want to say this to all the rappers. Before you get on these social media platforms, for one, know what kind of monster you're dealing with. That's one. Two, understand anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Three, understand that FCC airwaves is still a way for them to catch you and indict you, whether it's on the phone, because you can communicate through the phone on social media. Understand the seriousness of when it comes to getting on these social media platforms is for you to understand that you have every right not to answer questions. Josh got a word. He says, honestly, it's a lot more white executives and Jewish ones as well. But when it comes to media interviews, it's white men that are tricking young Black men into talking about crimes. Absolutely, man. For real. You heard me talk about this situation when it came a long time ago, before it even got to the Wack 100 situation. But I want to show you something specifically about this that's really, 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 really controversial. But I really want you to see exactly what goes on with these people. But I'm just going to show you a clip. Check this out.
Let me tell you this. I read the entire indictment. A lot of what Loose Cannon corroborated, which they already had proof, you're sitting there with them, and you're doing the same thing you do a lot of times. So you're telling me that Big U did this and he called him back and he gave him the money? Again, Loose does.
You're setting him up to fail.
What I'm saying is that really going the extra mile. You know even more than me. You're smarter than the average bear. When you're sitting, when you're sitting there on a podcast with a guy and you're literally You're literally like
you're winding him up. You're putting the battery in the back of your little toy soldier to go against your big
They say both of y'all doing it all the time.
Hold on,
And it's cap.
No, let's be real.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference.
Vlad, you get the blame for this all the time. You ask a question and it's on who to answer it.
I said this last night, right? About getting on these social media platforms, and you just heard me say specifically about the things that you should and you shouldn't do in getting on these social media platforms. One thing that you got to realize is that these people have access to some of the best strategic and manipulation tactics there is when it comes to pressuring. And when I'm saying pressuring, understanding the mind and the psyche of a person that wants to talk about certain things. Understand that. And for two, they will always, if they can, get the most and squeeze the blood out of a turnip. And that turnip is you. That turnip is you rappers. That turnip is you entertainers. That turnip is directly anything you say for them to squeeze to make something out of it that may not be anything. See, y'all forget about Irv Gotti. Y'all forgot when this same tactic, and I'm going to tell you this, a lot of social media platforms are using this. Irv Gotti went through a lot of things. He battled 50 Cent and he also battled the feds. He knew in his heart and his spirit, he was going to have to battle both of them, but he was going to lose a battle to specifically one of them. You forget the highlight of his career was not just him bringing up Murder Inc., but it was also him beating the feds too. Make no mistake, Irv Gotti paid millions of dollars out of his own pocket to prove his innocence at the time of when the rap beef with Murder Inc. and G-Unit was going on. You have to understand when 50 Cent was talking the way that he was talking, and I'm playing the neutral on this for you to understand both sides of the spectrum. Irv Gotti could not do anything or say anything because with that beef being highlighted the way that it was, and if you ever want to check who owns what, as who has the license agreement with YouTube, as who has the licensing agreement with all of those record companies and those record execs before social media and before YouTube became what it was. Understand who you playing with and understand the dynamics of who you playing with. Irv Gotti knew in his heart of hearts he couldn't say anything because he was already under heavy scrutiny and also up under the surveillance watch of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Understand that. He could not do anything. Even if he took a swipe at 50 Cent, it was going to be a problem. If he spit in his direction, it was going to be a problem. If he whispered anything negative, they were going to be on his road. So it's almost like fighting, knowing that you can't fight because of certain various reasons and you a boxer, so you just got to take the punches and what have you until help arrive. That's the type of position that he was in. If you go according to a couple of interviews that he did, he said, I was getting sued left and right because at that time before the Fed started really getting involved with him, he was whooping people's asses left and right. They was catching people slipping everywhere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those, I'm not going to speak on it because he's not here to defend himself, but a lot of individuals got their ass whooped behind messing with Murder Inc. A lot of people don't understand that. So when it came to the future of him actually beefing and the Fed stepping in on behalf of Kenneth McGriff, Supreme McGriff, who's still locked up to this day, he got intertwined into some things that he did not want to have any association with. Understand that when that happened, Def Jam cut ties with Murder Inc. You got to understand, when the federal government got into investigation, they went to the Def Jam offices. They pulled tapes, they pulled laptops, they pulled computers, they pulled emails, they pulled everything that you know that the FBI that can indict you on. They're going to put it out there and they're going to bring it together. So guess what? Who they didn't want in those business offices? They did not want the FBI in those business offices. So a lot of times they literally had to cut ties before there was a criminal investigation, because you remember Rockefeller was up there, Rough Rider was up there. Y'all forget all of these type of things that was happening long before it ever came to a forefront. So fast forward to when you see the actual rap game and what it was. You had a Jimmy Henchman, you had King Tut, you had a lot of these guys trying to wash their money into the rap game. You forget that. Y'all forget Harry O, who started Death Row. This is all the come about of where this came from. So when you see these guys on these social media platforms, who I think that are in cooperation with the government, they actually sending these guys to jail. See, y'all forget that Vlad TV was actually raided. Y'all forget that the FBI stepped in and wanted to investigate him because of his mixtapes. Y'all forget about that. And when the Federal Bureau of Investigation investigated Vlad, he had a lot of information. So guess what? I guarantee, and it's not on record, because the FBI don't have to put nobody on record. It's at their own discretion, that when he started going into hip hop, you already had the hip hop police. All this was around that time. The FBI probably said, hey, you know what? We don't even need a hip hop police anymore. We can get the feds to do it. So therefore, at the same time, when DJ Drama got raided, DJ Big Mike got raided, Vlad TV got raided, there was a certain level of what they investigated and who they could probably flip. Guess what? They didn't have to have Vlad TV on paper. They could just monitor what he's doing. And just behind the scenes, they could be the big brother, the big eye in the sky. And all they have to do is just look at certain interviews, look at certain topics, look at certain things like that to start creating their own FBI investigation of all these local rappers. See, y'all easily forget all of these things that have happened in hip hop. See, I never forget nothing. I never forgot nothing, especially when Irv Gotti went through what he went through. And for the sake of me saying this, how the fuck we don't celebrate Irv Gotti beating the feds, but then we turn around and see 50 Cent with his association with 1090 Jake, who's a fucking rat? How? We knew that the momentum swing, especially with 50 Cent, couldn't be stopped, but he also couldn't fight the feds either. You got to understand that most influential and iconic picture that he took when he beat the FBI, it took everything out of him, financially, emotionally, mentally, and physically. That should be celebrated instead of a dude like 1090 Jake having his association with 50 Cent. But 50 Cent was the one that created this whole narrative and problem in the first place. When I sit there and I observe them guys, and I'm talking to the rappers, and I want to have this conversation too. A lot of times, do y'all ever think when y'all are sitting on these platforms that they're going to ask these questions to manipulate you, to get you to saying something, to put you in a specific corner to where you start saying things that may even be out of your character? Do y'all ever think that, yeah, you might get that stamp, but at what cost? Your career? You got to understand that the prison industrial complex and the music industry are working hand to hand, bro. You got to understand, when you get that record deal, then you go and then you actually jump on these social media platforms and you go and get on YouTube and you get to go into Adam 22 and you get to go into Vlad TV. None of them are going to tell you to shut the fuck up. None of them. They're going to let you keep talking. And you shouldn't keep talking. That's what's getting y'all in trouble. You opening your mouth. They're using your bravado and you're using your masculinity against you in the name and the sake of a check. I'm giving you some real live game here. I'm talking to y'all, especially when you seen Ebro talk to Kodak Black and he was talking about that case, and he kept trying to dig into it. And then guess what? Kodak Black politely and respectfully got it from the table. I'm gonna say it again. Shout out to Big 30 who got up from the, got off of that situation that was trying to create that controversy with Moneybagg Yo. Shout out to him. Shout out to Benny the Butcher. Shout out to Benny the Butcher, who actually directly went straight at Vlad for asking him, why does he ask them police ass questions that he got going on? I think there has to be a rearranging back to where we start going to certain platforms that support the artist, that protects the artist, and that does not put them at an uncompromisable position as far as the rap game is concerned. Because if you really look at it, I honestly don't think that Vlad TV, Adam 22, or DJ Academics gives a fuck. Because look at the expense of what's happened in hip hop is due to the fact of them being on the forefront and making all the money from it, but never giving back, making all the money from it and not having an encouraging word, making all the money from it and still perpetuating the ignorance that goes on in hip hop today. I have an issue to take with that. And the reason I have an issue to take with that, because there are so many kids that are looking to maybe one day sit on a Vlad couch or go into an Adam 22 studio to tell their story, not realizing that they're compromising their own safety and their own, and I'm talking about their own protection against the law itself. It's definitely not a good thing. And it's definitely not a good thing, especially when you see them going to getting these situations back and forth, hand in hand. And I want to say this to everybody. If you're coming into this rap game, man, keep your nose clean. Keep your nose clean as much as you possibly can. Do not put yourself in a disadvantage, and do not put yourself in a disrespectful manner that could actually create a problem, you know what I'm saying, for you down the years in the long run. And the reason being, because if you look at hip hop right now, there is no statute of limitations when it comes to the rap game. There is no statute of limitations when it comes to the controversies and things that may have happened in your past that they're willing to bring up. There is no statute of limitations. Look at the artists that are going to jail right now. Look at the Brick Babies and the Loose Cannons. Come to find out that he had a sealed indictment. This is real, folks. Rappers, stop playing. And I gotta say this too, man. And I want to bring this up. And I want to say this. And this is something I want to talk about too. And this got to be talked about. And this is a crazy thing. Check this out. Cameron getting too comfortable talking. Shut the fuck up and keep your mouth closed, bro. Keep your mouth closed. It's crazy seeing somebody worth, look, it's crazy seeing somebody worth millions facing a life charge. Absolutely, bro. I got to give you a hand on that one, man. Keep your mouth closed. And I'm going to play this. And this really disturbed me for Cameron to be as smart as he is to make a stupid, dumb decision like this. I want to play this. And y'all want to jump up, y'all want to comment, whatever, let me know. Y'all check this out. See if this made sense. This is Cam talking about his past on his own platform, thinking that this may be not chargeable by the state laws or federal laws. Y'all check this out, man. This is crazy. Check this out.
Some shit like, yeah, Cam and them is rappers and all this shit, and Dame this and Dame that, and Cam don't know, he just a rapper, this, that, and third. And I'm like, AZ, you tried to rap. And
Oh yeah,
that shit ain't work out for
It
you.
didn't work out.
So now, because I get out the streets and I rap and my career is successful, and then Paid in Full ain't come out because I didn't fuck. All I did was audition for the part. I can't argue with Miramax, the film company, and all that shit. What you want me to do? But he tried to throw me under the bus like, Cam don't know he a rapper, da 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 da. And I'm like, you tried to rap too, bro. Your shit just ain't go nowhere. Secondly, he be telling all these Harlem stories, and they all in a radius of 4 or 5 blocks. I had towns, nigga. You ever hear me rap about Chicago? And nigga be like, yo, Cam's lying. Those Chicago niggas would have been calling me out. Them West Side niggas would have been calling me out. Ask Switzer, ask Crucial Conflict. Ask some niggas who had K-Town jumping. You ever hear Ohio niggas call me out? Cam wasn't in Columbus. Cam wasn't in Cincinnati. They never call me out because I was there. And when these niggas be telling these stories acting like they all Harlem, this, that, and third, I ain't knocking they shit. But don't throw me trying to say Cam's a rapper. You tried to rap, it didn't work out. Secondly, you be sitting there telling these stories like you made a mad money, and I said you did, but I don't think you made more money in the street than me. You know how much me and Zeke was getting? I don't even want to discuss it. I know the statute of limitations is up, but I'm scared to even tell you what we was doing, man. Do a background check on me. So, no, hold on. You ask. I know you like your legends and all that. I know you like your legends, your Harlem legends, and I heard niggas feeling. Who had a better run in Harlem than me, bro? Ever. I'm just saying. Tell me. Who had a better run? I'll say it.
I'll wait.
Wait, you said you made more money in the street than AZ? That's what you said?
Yes. What?
You hold on now. He was getting joints. He was getting bricks for a certain amount of price that's unheard of to sell them for another price. And he had the jukebox. And he had 130. What's that? 133rd. Come on, bro. It's just flowing.
You know how much a gram of heroin was in Columbus, Ohio?
You try to.
Yes or no? $350. You know how much a gram of heroin in New York is if you getting bricks? $50 to $55. So you do your math. Do the math again. Yeah, do it again.
So you was buying, hold on. So you was buying 750s and all that when you was bored. When you wanted to match your clothes, you was buying He wasn't Rayful Evans or nothing, but you was buying 750s and all that.
The diplomat movement got started from Ohio.
Well, we ain't get to that yet. Why you spoiling? That's a spoiler.
Stop puffing up. Stop puffing up, son.
But go ahead. What's the question? I don't know the question. What's the question? Go ahead.
No, I was just trying to hold on, bro. He was getting joints, 50 joints, 100 joints.
That's it?
Hell.
All right, so let's talk up here then.
I see. I think if I know somebody try to follow my footsteps, I ain't even gonna say nothing. Somebody wanted to follow my footsteps. I ain't gonna say who. Somebody tried to run down there to one of the towns.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Saw a lot of overalls and empty land.
Cow tipping.
Listen, man, I'm just saying, bro. Regardless of okay, cool, whatever. All the niggas I named on that song, and you ain't even hear the second verse. I'm asking you, who? Okay, let's. I know you like AZ and all that. He told. I got shot up too. No. I got shot up too, and I ain't telling nobody. Yeah, you listen to AZ and he be like, why you tell? Because they shouldn't have did that. That's exactly what I heard that nigga say. Nigga say, like, that nigga exact word say, you know what game you in? That should come with the game. It's part of the game. That's part of it. Yo, they shouldn't have did that.
Did that.
Yeah, but the point being.
Let me say this. And this is me just understanding both sides of the spectrum, right? If you listen and pay attention closely to the conversation with Cam, AZ was talking about him being a rapper, trying to be an actor. And he wanted to get certain individuals to play his part specifically. That's where he was coming from. He wasn't coming from a hateful perspective. Second of all, for you to start going and comparing comparing street legendary status was nothing but coonery and fucking buffoonery. Word of advice, Cam, and I'm talking to you directly. Cam, keep your mouth closed. Be quiet. AKA, Shut the fuck up. And the reason that you need to shut the fuck up, Cam, is because a lot of times you take things out of context. You specifically always go way out of your way when you think somebody says something about you. You always jump out of character. Acting in street business has no comparison when it comes to legitimacy and illegitimacy. Let me take you back to reason why Irv Gotti got indicted. Yeah, he mentioned his name, Kenneth McGriff, in one of the associations of his raps. That was one. But it was all based on a conversation that was tapped by the hip hop police. It was a conversation that was had that got him indicted. Now you won't hear doing the same damn thing. You need to close your motherfucking mouth. You don't have no PR people around you to tell you and to understand of what's going on in hip hop. And just because you're on the East Coast and all of this is happening on the West Coast, that the feds don't operate everywhere. And for you to specifically talk about towns where you used to do business at is fucking diabolical and criminally stupid. It's all fun and games. Jay-Z said this. It was all good just a week ago. Sometimes we can let our mouth overload our ass. And Cameron, in this situation, you let your mouth overload your ass. If nobody's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you. I'm talking directly to you as a specific man because you're now on the forefront. And guess what? You beat the game. Whatever street shit that you ever did and nobody else knew about, you beat the game. But now it's like you want to come back and get yourself caught up in bullshit that ain't got nothing to do with you, especially when it's based off the specifics of acting. This man talked about acting. Yeah, you can get into the details of that, but your street ties and your street ethics got nothing to do with the artistry of entertainment. You got to understand, how many people have we seen indicted because of this? How many people have we seen indicted that actually tried to wash their money through the rap game, and what ended up happening? We seen it with Harry O. We seen it with King Tut. You've heard me name these people countless times and times again. We've seen the association of certain individuals who could have cost them their career based on the association. Understand, Suge Knight lost Death Row because of the association. Yes, those were people that he fucked with. Yes, those were friends that he fucked with. But at the expense, if you look back at his life, if you had any type of common sense and wisdom, was it worth it? I keep telling you, Adam 22, Vlad TV, Wack 100, DJ Academics. They not going to let you stop talking. They're going to allow you to keep talking so that they can line their pockets up with bread. You don't know who's watching, who's listening, and you don't know who had an open investigation that still may be from Ohio, Columbus, Cincinnati that you talked about in your raps. This is a public service announcement. Cameron, shut the fuck up, man. Shut up. Nobody needs to know. It's something about us as black folks. We like to just bring up shit that has no relevancy to make us feel good. We need to stop that shit. There's no way that I'm ever going to talk about shit that I've ever done in my past that I'm going to go to my grave with. It's shit that I'm going to my grave with. And guess what? I hope anybody that has ever had any association don't bring shit up about me, because if we do, we're going to have a motherfucking problem. This got to be said. If nobody's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you. Keep your mouth closed, bro. Because at the end of the day, you've done some great and wonderful things in hip hop. You've set trends and did all of this. And for all of that to be put to waste, for all of that to be put to waste, or you to be criminally investigated over some bullshit that you said because you could not let your ego go and be put to the side, man, that'll be a whole waste of the whole fucking diplomats movement in itself. Man, don't do that, man. Keep your mouth closed, Cam. You got a lot of people that you've employed. There's a lot of people that have been granted an opportunity because of you. You've done a lot for the game. You've done a lot for the entertainment industry. But for you to sit up there and to run your goddamn mouth the way you did, bruh, that's doing a disservice to the hip hop community. We're not supposed to be helping them out. We're supposed to be solidifying our status and never looking back. The same thing that Jay-Z did. But Jay-Z's not off the hook too, because he got Amanda Perez, who's been indicted, who's been been investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and now she's over there working over there at Rock Nation. Yeah, I got a problem with that too. But nonetheless, man, Cam, I wish you the best. But at the end of the day, bro, you need to keep your mouth closed. I want to talk about this too, man. This situation, and it was quite a tripped out situation. 3 sisters try to kill their own mother over Wi-Fi. The girls ages 14, 15, 16 repeatedly grabbed kitchen knives and chased their mother through the house and into the street. Authorities say one of the teens struck the mother with a brick. This should be a public outrage when it comes to the Black community. This should be a public outrage. A mother that's trying to take control of her house, depending on it, 9 times out of 10, them girls were out of pocket and out of line. For them to even have the testicular fortitude, and I'm saying that in a respectful manner, to even think that you have the goal to think that you could put your hands on your mother is absolutely insane. These children, and I'm saying this, you have to guard your children at any given moment's notice because the devil is busy. As you can see, one conspired and then all of them were on the same plan of doing so. This is a problem, and this has been an ongoing thing. We've seen children stab their parents for their cell phones. We've seen kids shoot their grandmothers and parents over cell phones, internet, tablets, and all this type of stuff. This should not be going on in the culture. What is mentally going on within our culture that we keep sweeping this type of shit up under the rug? Do we have control of our households or do we not? Are the children running the households or are they not? Who has more power? And I'm asking this question. Who has more power now? The children or the parents? Who has the power? Who has the control? Because at no way, shape, or form would I ever even have the mindset of harming the people that have provided me life. But I'm gonna send this message, and this is to any child that came from me, that came from these loins. I'm giving it to you straight and raw, and I don't care who thinks what. Hey, man, you going to respect me, and you going to see me on Father's Day, or you going to be the next Marvin Gaye. I think that a lot of these children have gotten out of line and gotten out of pocket, and we've allowed this to happen because they don't have any structure or discipline. There is supposed to be a line that is not to be crossed. And due to the fact of a father and sometimes not having a strong mother to back that father, those lines can get blurred. Those lines can get crossed simply because you're trying to be your child's friend and a child's peer instead of being a parent. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. I'm not my child's peer. I'm the parent. Yes, there is a hierarchy. Better yet, I'm going to say this word that nobody likes. There's a pecking order. There's a pecking order that is supposed to be in place so that everybody knows they place and they stay in a goddamn lane. Because the moment a child ever tells me what they about to do,
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
it's going to be a problem. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm talking to the parents of America, and I'm talking to everybody that is actually establishing themselves as a father or mother. Get your children in line, because there are so many things on the outside before they even enter the house that is attacking their minds, attacking their spirits, attacking who they are as individuals. And they're going to slowly, gradually change over time. And you're supposed to have yourself in place, and you're supposed to have your mind and your spirit intact to combat these things. I want you to understand, make no mistake about this. If you care about your children, you need to be all in their face, all in their space, all in their phone, all in their drawers, all in their closet, all in the places that they think that you shouldn't be. In the restaurants, in McDonald's, Burger King, in the movies, behind the back seat when they driving. You need to be in every place that they think that you shouldn't be, because you're trying to protect your investment. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be protecting our investments. Our children are supposed to be our greatest investments and value to the next generation. And when we got situations like this going on, and for this to be put on the forefront, then this is going to create other problems in other households. What we can see right now, I can see it firsthand. Like I told you, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been in the schools where the respect ain't there for the teachers. If the respect ain't there for the teachers, the damn show ain't there for the parents at home. I study behavior. I understand the significance of having a loving two-parent household. Yes, I understand it because I studied these things. I can tell within about the first 30 seconds what kind of background that child has. I've studied this. I've seen hundreds of students that have come through those doors that have already been grown before they got to the schoolhouse. They are already put in grown person positions. They're already doing these things. So when a teacher talks to them, it's like they're talking to them like they're insignificant or they're beneath them. Those children are already parents. These children are already grown before they get to the school. So therefore, there's a conflict of there's a tug of war of power, because these children say, if I'm big enough to do this and I'm old enough to do this, then who are you to tell me what I can and what I can't do, especially when it comes to me being an adult in my household. So I say this respectfully. I say this respectfully, that we got to get to the point to where we start seeing these things change significantly. And it has to change, because if we don't change it, there's going to definitely be a problem in the future. It's going to definitely be a problem in the future. And I want to address this too. And I want to bring this up. Hold on a second. I want to bring this up because this has got to be talked about. And I want to say this, and I had to bring myself up on these on this other one, that if we're going to make it as a society and we're going to make it as a culture, then we're going to have to start changing some things around. We're going to have to start literally aligning ourselves up and looking at things from a different perspective. We are literally going to have to do something before it's too late. And the reason why we got to do something before it's too late is because I don't want to see us be held at a disadvantage, especially when our children are coming up in the ranks, or they want to do anything in the entertainment industry, and you see people pick them apart and put them in uncompromisable positions like Vlad TV, Wack 100, Adam 22, and places like that. You got to know how to stand your ground. And in this situation like that, that's a disgrace to the culture. That's a disgrace to our mark. Parents, line up, snatch your kids, get them up, gather them up together. Because at the end of the day, it's not supposed to go down like that. And shout out to the parents that not only are parents to their own children, but to others as well, man. I got to give them a salute. Got to give them a salute. I have to give them a salute. I have to give them their respect, because we need more hands on deck now more than ever, man. And I have to say this. And the reason why is because there's a lot of contributing factors, and we're going to have a show about that in the future on how that did a detriment to our culture, man. For real, for real, for real. And I want to say this too, and I wanted to bring this up, man. And this was a crazy topic. Maxo Cream and D Flowers, they get into it. They got into it, man. And y'all just check this footage out. And this is where we are. And I'm going to speak briefly on this.
Come on, bro. Take that ring off, bro. Nah, let him go. Let him go. Run that shit. Weak, run that shit. Any nigga with these flowers want to fight, I want to fight. Niggas ain't talking about fight. Niggas with flowers want to fight, I want to fight. Bro, you look at you. Anybody.
God, listen, that situation going down all over baby mamas, man, thumbs down on that situation. I have to give a thumbs down. And the reason I got to give a thumbs down on that situation is because it was over baby mamas. We talking baby mamas here. Something that's totally irrelevant. Yeah, you might care about them and cool, but at the end of the day, people are grown. They're going to do whatever they want to do. To me, imagine us being able to come together to fight behind that nonsense. But I also said in that post, imagine if we could come together besides aggression, but progression. Man, what would we be as a society? If we could come together as far as financial, emotionally, physically, all of these areas that we lack in. Imagine what we would be if we could come together and build. Maxo Cream, shout out to him. Shout out to D Flowers. I hope that they can resolve this and put this behind us, because like I said, Maxo, great artist from Houston, doing his thing. I want him to see him in much success and not outside giving us more drama and more street shit than the music. Shout out to both of them, for real, for real, for real. I have to give them some love. You know what I mean? I have to. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation for them to be, you know, and like I say, everybody's recording, because guess what? That's actually, you know what I'm saying, creating a problem and stuff like that. And then, like I say, they could pick up this, you know what I'm saying? The police can pick up this and then create a charge with that, man. And I don't want to see them at a disservice. But shout out to them both, though. I want to say this too, and this is going to probably be a word, and I want everybody to understand what I'm bringing to the table as far as media. There's a book that I want to get. Like I say, if you see at the bottom, you know what I'm saying, like, subscribe, and share if you want to donate. There's this book. It's called this book is called A Time Before Crack. I want to get it. I want to add that to the repertoire of the podcast library. Shabazz wrote it, and it was a time before the crack era rushed in and took everything down, as far as in the areas of New York City, all the 5 boroughs, Staten Island, Harlem, Brooklyn, Uptown Manhattan, Jersey. Man, crack did a number. And before crack, heroin did a number. You know what I mean? These are things that have lived on through the legacies of where we are as people. And I want to grab that book specifically is because, like I said, if you want to, I want to reach our goal, get to 1,500 subscribers. So if you ever get a chance, man, get somebody to like and subscribe on the program. I want to grab this book because I feel like that book is an important key element to what they described before the crack era. And we know that the crack era hit everybody hard. You know what I'm saying? It hit everybody hard. It affected families. It affected parenting. It affected a lot of things within Black culture. And I want to grab that book. So if you ever want to donate, by all means, my Cash App is at the bottom. $5, $10. The book is $34. But I want to have these books so that I actually can start the next level. And this is what I wanted to talk about too, to where I give my time with the youth. And I give my time specifically with young brothers and young sisters across America, and to be able to have these intelligent conversations and understanding the significance of what happened before and the after effects of what happened during that era. I want to talk about that. I want to bring that up. I want to have a whole collection of books and have exactly what Dr. Amos Wilson talked about, having groups to where we understand how to function as men, how to function as women, how to relate to one another, how to coexist to one another. Those things to where they don't end up into fisticuffs, to where it doesn't end up in domestic violence, where it doesn't end up in all of the areas that we do not need to succeed in, but other areas that will make us influential to where we can have power, wealth, and influence, and so we could change the culture. We need this now more than ever. And shout out to the people that's dedicated their lives and dedicated. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Neely Fuller, Jason Black, who's of our modern day, George Foreman, rest in peace, man. All the people that actually did something effectively, tangible wise, to make us think and to promote us and to provoke us into doing something for a better change, man. Shout out to them. So y'all understand that that's what I'm bringing to the table, and bringing more and more and more, and I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I also want to send a special shout out. to Baytown Kitchen, Baytown Thai Kitchen, 5623 Golf Road, Baytown, Texas. When I'm there, mention Let's Yap About It podcast, and you're going to get yourself 10% off. We are building and connecting through marketing all over Houston and basically all over everywhere that I can go, man. I want to show love and I want to show respect. If you're an artist, tap in, man, send your music. I want us to be able to have a platform to where, you know what I'm saying, you get your music played off, and this becomes the place and a safe haven for your music and your marketing and everything about you to grow, man. So shout out to y'all, man, for real, for real. I show nothing but love, and I show nothing but respect to y'all, man, for real, man. I love y'all, and most of all, I want y'all to continue to grow. I want to say this too, and we're going to end today's show, man, because I got to get ready to go to work. You know what I'm saying? I'll be pushing it in. I don't stop what I'm doing. If you need anything, marketing, promo, get at me. You already know I'm going to promote your business, whatever it is, wherever the location it is, I'll come to it, especially in the Houston, Sugarland, Pearland, Baytown, Pasadena area. I don't care where. If it's a food truck or whatever, I do $10 promotions. I'll pull up. You know, I definitely want to dedicate my time and energy. You seen what I did with Donita's Donuts. Man, listen, that spot had over, god dang me, 515 views within an hour. If y'all go over there, man, check that place out, man. I'm gonna definitely be doing a video over there, Donita's Donuts, man, especially in Houston, I-10 and Wayside, man. Listen, I hope y'all enjoyed today's program. I know it was impromptu, but I had to speak on a lot of things. And definitely to you rappers and to everybody that's in the entertainment business that may have had some startup money, or may have had a little help anywhere, be careful. Keep your mouth closed before you get yourself federally indicted, man. For real. Today, I'm closing out the show with none other than one of my favorite artists of all time. Listen, it had to do everything with today's show. Man, shout out to Young Scooter, man. Listen to me. Shout out to Young Scooter, for real, for real. Shout out to Young Scooter. Shout out to Young Scooter, man. Definitely Black Migo gang, man. I love him. Respect to him. Much love, much honor. And like I told you, man, we ending the show with today's song is called Appeal, man. It had everything to do with today's show, man. For real. Shout out to y'all. The song is called Appeal. Man, listen. Go to Future's Free Band Gang, the movie mixtape. You'll hear that song. You also can hear it on Young Scooter's platform. He streams on all streaming services, man. Shout out to Young Scooter for real, man. ATL, stand up. You know what I mean? Listen, it's been a pleasure. Oh, yeah, and I got to definitely bring up Pee Wee Longway, too, man. Pee Wee Longway is a legend, too, man. Shout out to him. He's federally indicted right now. All the rappers, man. Remember, keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed. Do not say anything, man, that can criminally indict you. But with none other than, man, we got my boy Young Scooter, the Appeal. For real, man. Robert, the Prob, you already know who it is. Rob the Prob. Back at it again with another one. We over and out. Peace.
Thing is, it's all too real. We all know somebody behind them bars. Scooter talk to him.
I got niggas down the road, waiting on an appeal, living life through a pen. I hope they get that appeal.
True story.
I hope they get that appeal. I got niggas down the road, waiting on an appeal, living life through a pen. I hope they get that appeal. I hope they get that appeal.
Yeah, pray for them.
I just opened up the mailbox, 4 letters from my niggas who fucked up in the system, who got their head up with no max date. Judge, I married them niggas to the state. Don't give a fuck who like they take away. You get your time and they just walk away. Now you riding at that dirt lane, shackled in chain, buy some petty change. That's what folks say. Cause you thinking about your kids and they ain't got a thing. I got niggas down the road, waiting on an appeal, living life through a pen. I hope they get that appeal. I hope they get that appeal. I got niggas down the road, waiting on an appeal, living life through a pen. I hope they get that appeal. I hope they get that appeal. Changati did it, time a street nigga told on him. Apple, he doing it, time a street nigga told on him. Got Fisher did it, time a street nigga told on him. Big Meat, he doing it, time a street nigga told on him. In the streets, you don't wanna get caught up with them dope boy products. You gon' need a appeal. You gon' need a appeal. Only snitches get deals. Only snitches get deals. I got niggas down the road, waiting on an appeal, living life through a pen. I hope they get that appeal. I hope they get that appeal. I got niggas down the road, waiting on an appeal, living life through a pen. I hope they get that appeal. I hope they get that appeal.